For me, learning right now, AI is a huge help, but I already have a lot of experience. I wonder if you're starting from scratch, whether that's a good idea, but I still think it's probably a really good idea. But basically, generate some code using AI and figure out what it's doing by playing with different parts. Maybe can you comment on that aspect, like the use of AI as part of the learning process?
This is where I have both the hopeful and the doomer take at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's the same thing with Google or Stack Overflow. Like this, it's all the same kind of take, which is it's just making things more democratized in some sense. I get to ask questions in probably the most personal possible way with my own voice and my own words, and it's able to produce out answers and kind of hopefully help guide me. Now, regardless of just say the errors and the incorrectnesses of it, like ultimately just using it as a learning, tool and being able to just formulate and read answers in your own voice, I think is super powerful. And I think it's super amazing. But the part that I think is going to be really difficult is that we don't value remembering things anymore as a society. Like since the internet came about, I can just look that up. No need to you don't need to memorize your times tables, right? You can just use a calculator. You can just do all that. I remember I just was sitting on the airplane and I watched someone do the world's most simple addition and subtraction like 10 times on their phone. I'm like, why are you not just like, you should already know these, you should be able to do these things. And I realized that we kind of offload our brains, right? Oh, I don't need to know these things because I can look them up. And that's not a bad answer in some sense. I can understand that. Like, I don't need to remember every last thing. But then it also makes me realize that you kind of develop this learned helplessness that a new error comes up. I'll just ask the AI. AI says, oh, okay, I got to fix this line. I fixed the line. You didn't actually learn anything. You kind of just used it as a quick means to get something out and move on. And so you sacrifice knowledge for speed, which is a great thing. And we have to make those trade-offs all the time in engineering. Sometimes you have to move fast at the sacrifice of knowledge. And I'm totally on board for that. But I worry that what we'll create is an entire generation of incompetent programmers who can do some amount of things well, but anything that is unique, bespoke, or requires some extra little elbow grease might become very difficult. It might cause a whole chasm where juniors remain juniors forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to see that. I want to see people grow. I want to see people, actually be able to take this as a craftsmanship thing. And so that's kind of that's like both my hope and my worry is that AI, I think, can do both, really. Because if you could ask whatever question you want and you don't have to rely on, say, a book to give you that exact answer, and if the book just said it wrong and you can't understand it, it's just like, sorry, you don't get to learn what this is. Like recursion for me. I spent way too much time until someone gave me the right problem to understand recursion. You could imagine AI could have solved that for me way faster because it could have gave me the right problem and walked me through it much better. But what happened if I just always have recursion solved by them and not actually learn it myself?
So if I ask AI to generate code to do a certain thing, some actually large percentage of time, most of what AI generates is going to be correct for me. But some percent of the time, it's not, like fundamentally not. Mm-hmm. And for me to recognize the difference between those two, I think it takes a lot of experience. Like, I think to learn that skill of knowing no, a different new out-of-the-box solution is needed here than the one you're providing. You're missing the point. That's a skill. And how do you learn that? You learn that by building from scratch. So both are probably really necessary.
Yeah.
But I think as a first step of learning how to program, it's pretty nice to generate a function, to generate for loops and all that kind of stuff, and then just fuck with the different lines and modify them to try to adjust the behavior of the program. And from the way the behavior of the program adjusts, or if bugs are created, you learn about the syntax of the language, the behavior of the language, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a super powerful way to learn. But yeah, you need to also write from scratch.
Yeah, at some point you have to take off the training wheels, because I think what you're really spotting is the difference between reading and writing code. Like, I can read a lot of languages very well. I can see what's happening. I can understand it. But I would not be very good at writing it. I can understand a lot of things about C++ and I can read it, but I'm just not that, because I haven't done it in so long. I can't remember where all the semicolons and colons and like, you do public and private and how should you do naming convention, like, all those things kind of add all together. And then you're just like, oh, I'm really bad at writing it, though I can read it. And so there's a skill gap chasm that exists between those two.